Hey everybody, welcome back to For Pilates' Sake, Matilda and Veronica, and today we're looking at leg springs. These are the leg springs. You can, I have the availability for this to bring the bar up or down. So the higher the bar goes, the heavier the spring will be, the lower the lighter. You also, I mean, this is a fairly heavy spring. It's a balanced body brown, but you can get the purples. So you're going to have to work in your studio and figure out what are your light springs and your heavy springs, because not everybody can do the same spring.
And also, just real quickly, I have the Pilates design, and the grots don't have colors at all.
Oh, yeah. So you just need to really know.
Yeah, leg spring or arm spring, and that's that.
Okay. Obviously, the spring is going to be on the outside of the body, which we're going to notice demands a lot of inner line, adductors, hamstrings. And so when people feel like that's where they're burning out, they're probably right.
Yeah.
But the lovely part about it is that it replaces the quadriceps and the hip flexors so that you can get access to your glutes and hamstrings and let the front line elongate, because most people are just so gripped and congested there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start teaching Matilda leg circles. So she's going to turn herself around and she's going to put her hands up onto the pipes. The one thing I want to talk about before she even gets her legs in, depending on the flexibility of your arms, if you don't have the flexibility and the arms go too low, that can pop the rib cage out. We don't want that. We want to find that sweet spot where when those springs come onto her, they're going to feed her back into her arms, which I'm going to get you to do right now, okay?
Yep.
So let's just put these on your feet, and you kind of put it, well, I put it just not quite center, but just under the ball of the foot a little bit. But where do you put them?
Yeah.
That's where I kind of like
bird on a perch.
kind of bird on a perch. Yeah, I agree. So if she were just, let's just start with your legs up for a second. And then let's just have you swing your legs straight down. So this is a little bit of a setup here. So I want her to be able to feel the spring. Its job is to let her, or put her femurs back into her hips, but also put her on her arms. So if the energy of the spring doesn't fit into her hands and somewhere gets caught along the way, well, that's not going to be good, because you want to be able to feel it from top to bottom. Yeah. So how are you feeling there, right? Yeah. So awesome. If the person has really tight pecs, you might have to go a little higher, just depending on where they can keep their shoulder girdle organized, not let their head be tipped back, and obviously so that they can breathe. Okay, so you don't have to worry about putting your arms in your sockets. Essentially, the spring does it for you. Yeah. And then she can reach her hips onto the spring as well. So this is where you get that kind of oppositional energy, which you would need later on the mat, where your legs are trying to plug in, but you're trying to reach your spine on towards your feet. Much easier to kind of organize that here. So let's start with the legs up. And we're going to do leg circles. So she's only bringing her legs to where her pelvis can stay neutral, and she's got really nice long hamstrings, so this is easy for her. If she couldn't, I would have her legs stop where her pelvis is not going to tuck under, because in this case I want the spine and pelvis neutral, and I want the femurs to be mobile. So we can go for 90 for you. Okay. We're going to inhale, open up the inner thighs, swing the inner thighs down, let them touch the mat, draw your heels towards each other, and then exhale, float it back up. Now the spring's going to bring her legs back up. She does not have to do this, but what she has to resist with is the back of her legs. So she inhales, stretches her hip flexors, stretches her, I'm not going to say quads, but her rectus femoris, maybe the top portion of it. And then she would do like maybe 5 in each direction. Now what Matilda's doing a fabulous job of, and a lot of people don't do this, is that they will push with the back of their legs and their calves, especially if they're hyperextended. And I want her to be the driver at the highest point of her femur, which is basically ball in socket. And we could do 5 in each direction. She's only going as wide as her pelvis stays neutral, and she's only circling her legs down as far as she's not going to arch. So if she didn't have the hip flexor availability, what would happen is she would stop here and then arch off. No, they do this if they didn't have their hip extension, right? So sometimes you have to tell that person to curl their tail in a little bit, especially if they don't have the hip joint opening. The next joint is going to be the SI joint, and she doesn't have a problem with that. So again, her hamstrings are going to have to get a little bit more organized to take her down, and then she's going to exhale, open up the legs, and then continue to bring it back up to the top. So like I said, 5 in each direction. And she's breathing in to go down, and she's breathing out to come back up. Lovely. There she goes, and she feels that spring go right through her feet, into her hips, through her spine, and onto her arms. So she's essentially doing a handstand.
Yeah, that feels so
Yeah.
good.
I mean, a lot of people can't lower their legs without a spring. So if you can sort of put this in your nervous system, then when you have to do it on mat, your body kind of already has that rehearsal of doing that.
Nice.
Okay. There you go, guys.
Thanks for joining us.